So here's the thing. I don't know if I will talk about too many classic shorts on my channel. I probably should. Betty Boop, When My Ship Comes In. So I didn't plan on doing too many classic cartoon shorts, to be honest with you. That was never my plan. I would like to, but this one sort of caught my eye as I was showing Sophie some Betty Boop shorts, and I just like kept thinking about this one, and I just thought it was sort of funny, so I just sort of wanted to share. That's basically what this is, basically. And it's been sort of bugging me. I was like, you know what, I'm doing this. So it's basically, this cartoon is called Betty Boop, When My Ship Comes In. Most of the Fleischer Brothers stuff has all this crazy stuff going on, and like cool sequences and all this stuff. And you start this short, basically, and just Betty Boop listening to the radio. She's bet on a horse. She's like holding her ticket. She's like, I really want, to win this. Her horse is called Sleepyhead. She's listening to the race. It's just like a simple setup. And at first you're like, this is sort of boring for Betty Boop. What's going on here? And then Betty Boop wins. And she wins $1 million. Like, her ship has come in. She's made $1 million. And then she's all happy and stuff. And at first, this part is weird. And I really going through it and reviewing it, I was like, man, the Fleischer Brothers always had weird stuff. So right after she wins, her first instinct is to go under her couch. Under her couch is a cage of mice, who she then lets go. Was that a thing in the 30s or something? I don't think so, but I was confused. Like, why would you have a cage of mice under your couch and then let them go? And that's like, hey, I won $1 million, so I better get the rat cage. Like, I don't relate to that, but I don't know. And then she lets go, her bird, and she puts her fish near a stream that she lives right near. Sounds like a great location. I don't know why she's complaining or anything. Anyway, so then we get this crazy montage, and she's singing, When My Ship Comes In, about what it would be like if Betty Boop had enough money to really change shit. Basically, what if we had a matriarchy and Betty Boop was in charge? And I actually really liked the whole idea of this. The whole idea of, like, you had someone, like an honest person, like Betty Boop, who had, would be the Jeff Bezos of the 1930s, and how much stuff she would change. Now, I think one of the parts of this that I didn't realize until the end is this was 1934. That was definitely during the Depression, and at the time, this would have seemed like an amazing fantasy. It's 2020, and it definitely still feels like an amazing fantasy, especially now. But in 1934, if you were going to the movies and could scrounge up enough money to do so, it definitely felt that way. This is the same thing as, the Astaire Rogers kind of stuff, like all the fantasies that people went to Hollywood for. This goes into that, but it's such an amazing decadent fantasy. It's like things could work out. An honest person like Betty Boop could be a millionaire and change everything, and how many good things she could do with that money. That's kind of the interesting thing I actually really like about that. Not to be serious, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this, but it's like the idea that, like, someone would have money and how much wonderful things they could do, because everything is absolute dog shit and you have a cage of rats underneath your couch for some reason. I'm not letting that go. So basically what happens, she sings this song, she's singing her song, you have these two homeless guys that police roll up, kind of like they're in a restaurant, they roll up with two chickens, these police officers bring up. Then another police who looks the same, probably because, the animation's hard and we can't just redesign people like crazy guys. So they roll up fish. These homeless guys get fish. Then they get fancy water bowls that you put your hands in, which I never really got how that's a thing rich people want, but it's sort of funny because they're homeless. And Betty Boop has all the money in the world, so let's go with it. And then after that, you go to a place called Betty Boop's Free Ice Cream, and kids can just run up with cones and get scoops of ice cream. So it's like, already I'm like, why did we not let Betty Boop rule the world? The whole idea of this society where Betty Boop rules above all of us in this, like, matriarchal paradise, basically. And then you get milk. Now, this part I don't get, because I didn't know, first off, milkmen were loud. My cultural identity has nothing to do with milkmen. Apparently you need pillows on their wheeled wagons, and there'd be Betty Boop's milkmen, which I guess are quiet milkmen. Sure, Betty Boop, whatever, things are going great. If you want quiet milkmen, knock yourself out. And then they bring the milk through balloons to the door, which I've never had milkmen in my life, but I guess that was a thing at some point, or maybe the movies told people it was. I don't know. And then you have an animal. Betty Boop has an animal farm where there's like a scratcher for dogs. There's a duck bed. There's a bed that our ducks are in, and then they move the sheets, and then it's like an aquarium or something. That was the Fleischer brothers clearly, smoked ether or something. I don't know, but they didn't make any sense. And like, you had like character, like all these animals being treated really well. Squirrels had like free nuts dispenser at their disposal. Clearly money's doing well because even the squirrels are getting free nuts. You had comfortable trolleys with one couch on it, so you could just relax in your trolley, not have to talk to people. And this part I really liked, where you had the old maid's home next to the bachelor pad home. And so clearly like ageism in dating in a healthy, respectable way. I want to make that clear. They weren't trying to anything inappropriate. It was just like 20-year-old bachelor guys and old maids hooking up. Betty Boop was like was going to change the world basically. And then you had like money changing hands in it. A much better economy. Railroads were going. Production was up. People were buying nice clothes. Basically, guys, if Betty Boop controlled the economy in this cartoon, things would be absolutely perfect. And I just love the spirit of this, because especially like now, it's just like just the idea of like this like total fantasy of like it's not a fantasy of I'm gonna buy a gold-plated Ferrari with this $1 million. I'm gonna do this, and like the world's gonna be an amazing place. Everyone's gonna have free ice cream and wonderful milkmen and all this stuff. And it's just like such a kind of a nice, wonderful idea. This idea that like you'd have $1 million and you could change the world and make it a great place. And I sort of just like that. I like the idea that the Fleischer brothers made this little fantasy for people during the Depression when they're in breadlines, all this stuff. Why isn't Betty Boop running for president? I don't understand. She's clearly the savior that could have saved us all. And when my ship comes in, showed us all of that. I don't think this is very representative of your average Betty Boop cartoon. I think this is a weird thing that the Fleischer brothers were like, sure, why not? Dave Fleischer and Max Fleischer are geniuses, and this is definitely like a highlight just because I love the whole, they were weirder, they were stranger, but this is like such a amazing liberal kind of fantasy in a Betty Boop cartoon. And I just love it. I just really like it. It's just kind of a fun thing. Rewatching it, I was like, there's so many cool gags and funny things. It just plays with the idea of like, even like the not a song, like If I Ruled the World kind of thing. It's like that total fantasy that's exists in like songs and cartoons and stuff, but it was just such a nice fun one from Betty Boop and the Fleischer brothers. And that's sort of what I liked about it. It's sort of like a nice fun thing to imagine. From the Great Depression to a pandemic, I guess we can all enjoy when Betty Boop's ship comes in.